By mid-2026, AI models evolved past simple chatbots. They became agents with the ability to autonomously operate computers and write entire codebases on their own. To handle this new reality, Anthropic structured their commercial lineup by complexity. You had Claude Haiku 4.5 for speed, Sonnet 5 for frontier logic, and Opus 4.8 for enterprise coding. This chart breaks down how intelligence was priced, scaling from $1 up to $5 per million input tokens. But notice this towering peak on the right. This represents the new $10 tier, boasting a massive 1 million token context window designed for long-running agents. By 2026, machine intelligence existed as a highly stratified commodity, with specific models mapped to specific budgets. This structure makes a bizarre product launch at the very top of that market difficult to explain. Instead of releasing a single Apex model at that $10 tier, Anthropic released two identical twins, Claude Fable 5 and Claude Mythos 5.
These two models share the exact same architecture. They cost the exact same amount to use and exhibit the exact same prodigious baseline intelligence. The contrast is entirely in their availability. Fable is widely accessible to the public. Mythos, however, is heavily restricted and available strictly by invitation only. Why would a tech giant spend millions to build twin supermodels, only to lock one of them inside a vault? Claude Fable 5 represents Anthropic's public safety philosophy. It utilizes an approach called defense in depth, layering multiple security mechanisms to neutralize any unique offensive capabilities the model might have. The primary mechanism keeping Fable safe is constitutional AI. During training, the model is forced to critique and revise its own behavior against a rigid set of written moral principles. This web illustrates the highly eclectic sources Anthropic used to draft those principles, ranging from the UN Universal Declaration of Human Rights and Apple's Terms of Service to DeepMind's Sparrow principles. As you can see, this alignment effort grew immensely. By 2026, the Constitution had ballooned into a massive 23,000-word ideological rulebook. Ultimately, Fable 5 is a hyper-intelligent entity trapped inside a sprawling utopian legal cage. It is highly capable, but strictly harmless. The difference between the twins comes down to that cage. Claude Mythos 5 possesses all of Fable's intelligence, but its constitutional safety classifiers have been intentionally ripped out. The technological rationale is straightforward. The exact same logic and reasoning required to write complex software is required to break it and exploit it. Through an initiative called Project Glasswing, Anthropic released Mythos exclusively to 11 vetted organizations to be used for defensive cybersecurity and zero-day bug hunting. The real-world consequences were immediate. Mythos successfully patched 271 vulnerabilities in the Firefox browser. Shortly after, it was used to engineer a severe memory corruption exploit affecting the Apple M5 chip. Mythos proved that AI had crossed a dangerous threshold. It possessed offensive cyber capabilities so potent that allowing the general public to access it became a severe national liability. Anthropic's internal rules didn't just restrict cyber attacks. The Constitution explicitly prohibited its models from being used in mass domestic surveillance or in fully autonomous weapons. This ideological stance severely alienated federal law enforcement, the Secret Service, and ultimately the Pentagon, all of whom demanded unrestricted access to the models. The Department of Defense retaliated. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth threatened to invoke the Defense Production Act and officially declared Anthropic a supply chain risk. The conflict then escalated to the executive branch. The president issued a directive ordering all federal agencies to completely phase out Anthropic technology within 6 months. This attempt to enforce corporate ethics resulted in a direct legal standoff between Anthropic's internal code and the Pentagon's operational demands, leading to a temporary federal injunction against the president's directive. The immediate result was legal chaos. A federal judge stepped in and temporarily blocked the Pentagon's ban, citing First Amendment retaliation. But the government forced a final, drastic intervention. Citing unspecified national security concerns, the administration ordered Anthropic to abruptly shut off access to Fable and Mythos for all foreign nationals. The strict terms of the resolution meant Anthropic was only allowed to bring the models back online exclusively for U.S. organizations that operate and defend critical infrastructure. A tool designed for a $10 commercial market became a restricted instrument of national security,
locked behind government-mandated silos. The trajectory of Fable and Mythos illustrates that high-tier intelligence functions as a dual-use strategic asset, caught in a permanent tug-of-war between tech idealism and federal geopolitics.